Not too much rain expected this week for southern Australia, but we could see more rain for the Kimberley region of Western Australia. Before we look at that, we'll take a look at what we've seen with some storms recently. This is Kalita Station a few days ago. In the Kimberley region of Western Australia, we've actually had a pretty poor start to the wet season. So far since the 1st of October, less than 20% of the average rainfall. That's also applied to parts of the Northern Territory. We failed to see a lot of the best rains for the wet season and no consistent and active development of the monsoon trough already this season. In contrast to that, in Queensland, we've actually seen a very good wet season so far. Some places have received over a meter of rainfall across the northeast tropics, but we've been teased with these storms for parts of Western Australia's north. You can see Port Hedland is looking stormy at times, but we're not seeing that soaking rain that we usually get. Let's take a look at some forecasts. Today we have the chance of showers and storms in northeast New South Wales. We have rain developing in parts of the Nullarbor region of South Australia. More storms for the northeast of New South Wales there afterwards. Let's take a look at the tropics, though. We do see some tropical activity this week, but there is a fair bit of model uncertainty here because at one point it was looking like we could have dual tropical lows. You see one closed isobar there, the other one there. And if those form, well, they could draw some pretty heavy rain across the Kimberley region from about Wednesday onwards. But there's model inconsensus about that. And also, we could even see another tropical low around the Gulf of Carpentaria. Now, if that happens, then we will get some very heavy totals, much needed for that region, and it'll also cool down temperatures. But you can see the southeast expecting maybe some rain, maybe some showers and storms Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. But it is not widespread, and it is not soaking rainfall. Let's take a look at rainfall totals. Today, we're just going to see a few showers, a few storms northeast New South Wales. Tomorrow, we're going to see a few more storms in northeast New South Wales. They could be severe, maybe even some heavy rain in those, but fairly isolated totals. Average totals here, less than 5 millimeters. Western parts of South Australia seeing totals between 1 to 5 millimeters. Locally heavy falls in the tropics, potentially as high as 50 to 100 millimeters again. Monday storms become a little bit more widespread in New South Wales, affecting places like the Central Ranges, the Hunter region, northern New England tablelands. Isolated totals there between about 15 to 20 millimeters, but it's fairly hit and miss. So Tamworth, you're not guaranteed to get a storm there, but if you get a storm, it'll bring relief from those temperatures at the very least. Northern parts of the country, still in that wet season rain, but not consistent. That's when we start to get to Tuesday, where we start seeing signals of heavier rain come through, but it's highly dependent on movement of tropical lows here. So if we get a tropical low that forms off the coast of the Kimberley or Pilbara region and moves close to the shore to the east of it, that's where we could see maybe totals widespread over 25, 50 millimeters there, which is good. That'll temper that. So let's take a look at the rainfall expected over the next week. Heavy rain potentially for the northern tropics, and if tropical lows form, we could see totals in excess of 150 to 200 millimeters. For the east, the worst of the fire danger has actually eased, which is good news, but there's still a number of active fires across the state. This is yesterday, Tumut Valley in New South Wales. This is infrared imagery. It's very useful for picking out the boundary of the fires you can see there. So those are the fire fronts. And that's why we have the choppers and all the aircraft. That's what they sort of target. They target the fronts just in front of it or just on it in order to temper the flames and create fire breaks. So if you're around New South Wales, parts of Victoria, just make sure you're keeping up to date with the latest fires in your area, particularly parts of southern and southwest Tasmania, because it's dry in these areas. Bushfires have a lot of fuel, and they can go for a long period of time, and they can have explosive growth given the right conditions. But the worst fire danger today is actually going to be in parts of Western Australia. That's because it's hot there. Temperatures in excess of 35 to 40 degrees, particularly around the southwest and, of course, parts of the Pilbara, the Gascoyne region. We have fire weather warnings that have been issued for the coast there. And down into the southwest, we also have very high fire danger for Perth and the Perth Hills. Even in the east, we still have some fire danger to contend with. So again, in these sort of conditions, you can see emergency warnings. Just know what you're going to be doing in the event of a bushfire near you. On Sunday, winds ease back a little bit, but it still remains hot for large areas of the south and the southeast. In the west, the temperatures heat up even further and fire danger increases. So tomorrow, the fire danger is actually worse in Western Australia. Eases back for the east. Pockets of severe fire danger, even the Wheat Belt region. So that means fires can become unpredictable, and you can have little spot fires starting around 3 kilometers ahead of the main fire front in these sort of conditions. We've got a bit of a southwesterly change then rolling across the southwest on Monday that'll shift the heat further away from the southwest land division towards parts of the southern coastal districts, and that's why fire danger remains elevated there, but drops for coastal regions.
Time now to have a look at some of your pictures, and what a start. Well, that is the southwestern parts of Western Australia, where it is going to be very hot this weekend. We're looking at Perth, for example, getting into the high 30s, even low 40s, and as a result we do have severe and very high fire danger ratings. So Tasmania, we've had a number of fires burning, but a milder weekend for you coming up. Thank you, Courtney, for sending in those photos. Sydney's west, gee, it's been hot there as well, but we are looking at a bit of a cooler change, not for long though, for Sydney and other areas. Stay with us for more on that. And in New South Wales, also seeing a few lightning strikes. Cairns, we could see some heavier falls, particularly on Saturday, potentially up to around 25 millimetres with those onshore winds. But yes, not looking too bad. This photo posted on Instagram. We love seeing your photos, and if we can, we'll share them with everybody right here on Sky News Weather. You can pop them on our Facebook page, also Twitter and Instagram.